August 4th, 1962, 7:43 p.m. The phone rang in Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home. She stared at it from across the room, her hand trembling as she reached for the receiver. She almost didn't answer. She'd been avoiding calls all day. Reporters, studio executives, people who wanted something from her, people who pretended to care, but something made her pick up. Hello? Silence on the other end. Then breathing, heavy, deliberate. Miss Monroe. A man's voice, unfamiliar, cold. Who is this? That doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm about to tell you. You have 12 minutes to make a decision that will change everything. Marilyn's heart began to race. What are you talking about? Who are you? 12 minutes, Miss Monroe. Starting now. The line went dead. Marilyn stood frozen, phone still pressed to her ear. Her housekeeper, Mrs. Murray, appeared in the doorway. Miss Monroe, are you all right? You look pale. I don't know. Someone just called. They said I have 12 minutes to make a decision. What kind of decision? They didn't say. Mrs. Murray frowned. Should we call the police? Before Marilyn could answer, the phone rang again. She grabbed it immediately. Hello? A different voice this time. Female, urgent, frightened. Marilyn, it's me. Don't hang up. Marilyn recognized the voice instantly. Patricia, the script supervisor who'd brought her evidence months ago. The woman who'd lost her job for standing with her. Patricia? What's going on? Someone just called me. I know. Listen to me carefully. They're coming for you tonight. Who? Who's coming? The people you exposed. They've been planning this for weeks. They're going to make it look like an accident. Like you took too many pills. Like you were depressed, unstable. Marilyn's blood turned to ice. How do you know this? Because I've been investigating them. Following the money. The connections. And I found something, Marilyn. Something bigger than we thought. But they found out I was digging. They broke into my apartment, took my files, and they left a message. Patricia's voice broke. They said if I didn't disappear, you'd be dead by morning. And if I warned you, we'd both die. Then why are you calling? Because I can't let them kill you. You're the only person who had the courage to stand up. And if they silence you, everything we fought for dies too. Marilyn's mind raced. What do I do? You run. Right now. Pack a bag. Get in your car. Drive somewhere they can't find you. But where? They have people everywhere. Police, FBI, studio security. I know. That's why I've arranged something. There's a man waiting 2 blocks from your house. Corner of 5th and Helena. He's driving a blue Chevrolet. He'll take you somewhere safe. Patricia, how do I know this isn't a trap? Silence then. You don't. But what choice do you have? The line went dead. Marilyn looked at the clock. 7:47 p.m., 8 minutes since the first call. 4 minutes left. Mrs. Murray was watching her with concern. Miss Monroe, what's happening? Marilyn made a decision. Mrs. Murray, I need you to leave. Right now. Go home. Don't come back until tomorrow. But please, trust me. If you stay here, you might be in danger. Mrs. Murray hesitated, then nodded. She grabbed her purse and left. Marilyn was alone. She ran to her bedroom, threw clothes into a suitcase, money, passport, jewelry she could sell. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely zip the bag. The phone rang again. She stared at it. Should she answer? What if it was them? What if it was Patricia with more information? She picked up. Hello? Marilyn. A different voice. Male. Familiar. Her breath caught. Bobby? Robert Kennedy. The Attorney General. The man she'd trusted. The man who'd promised to protect her when she testified. Marilyn, I heard what's happening. You need to stay calm. Stay calm. Someone just told me I'm going to be killed tonight. I know, and I'm working on it. But you can't run. If you run, it makes you look guilty. It validates everything they're saying about you. I don't care how it looks. I care about staying alive. Marilyn, listen to me. I have agents on their way to your house right now. They'll protect you, but you need to stay put. How do I know I can trust you? Silence. A long, painful silence. Bobby, how do I know I can trust you? His voice, when it came, was different, strained. Because I care about you, Marilyn. Despite everything. Despite the complications. I don't want you hurt. Then tell me the truth. Are you involved in this? Did you know they were planning something? Another pause. Too long. Bobby? It's complicated. Those 2 words told her everything. Oh my God, you knew. Marilyn, you knew and you didn't warn me. You let them plan this. It's not like that. There are political considerations. Things bigger than both of us. Tears streamed down Marilyn's face. I trusted you. I testified because you promised to protect me. And now you're telling me politics matter more than my life? I'm trying to protect you. But you have to work with me. You have to. She hung up, looked at the clock. 10:51 p.m., 8 minutes since the countdown started. 4 minutes left. 4 minutes to decide. Run or stay. Trust Patricia's mysterious contact or trust Bobby's promises. 4 minutes to live or die. But the real shock was still coming. Because in those final 4 minutes, Marilyn would discover the truth about who really wanted her dead. Marilyn grabbed her suitcase and ran for the door. She couldn't stay. Not after Bobby's admission. Not after hearing the strain in his voice. She reached for the doorknob. It turned before she could touch. The door swung open. A man stood there. Tall, suit, sunglasses. Despite the evening hour. Miss Monroe, please step back inside. Marilyn's heart hammered. Who are you? Secret Service. I'm here to ensure your safety. I didn't call for Secret Service. The Attorney General did. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Another man appeared from the shadows of her porch. Also in a suit, also wearing sunglasses. They were blocking her exit. I'd like to see identification, Marilyn said, trying to keep her voice steady. The first man reached into his jacket. For a moment, Marilyn thought he was pulling out credentials. Instead, he pulled out a syringe. This will be easier if you don't fight, Miss Monroe, Marilyn screamed, threw her suitcase at him and ran. Not toward the front door. Toward the back of the house. Through the kitchen. Toward the garden. The men pursued. Their footsteps heavy behind her. She reached the back door. Locked. She fumbled with the latch. Her hands shaking. The footsteps getting closer. The lock clicked. She burst outside into the warm August night. Her garden. The rose bushes. The pool. The high fence that surrounded her property. She ran toward the fence. Maybe she could climb it. Maybe she could. A hand grabbed her arm. Spun her around. The first man held her. The second approached with the syringe. Please, Marilyn begged. Please don't do this. It's nothing personal, Miss Monroe. Just business. The syringe came closer to her neck. Then a voice rang out. Federal agents! Drop the weapon! Everyone froze. From the shadows of the garden, 3 figures emerged. Real federal agents. Badges out, guns drawn. Step away from Miss Monroe. Now, the fake Secret Service agents looked at each other. Then at Marilyn. Then back at the real agents. One of them spoke. There's been a misunderstanding. We're Secret Service. We were sent to. We know who sent you. And we know what you were sent to do. Now step away or we will shoot. The fake agents released Marilyn. She stumbled backward, gasping for breath. The real agents moved in quickly. Handcuffs, Miranda rights. The fake agents were led away. One of the real agents approached Marilyn. A woman, kind eyes. Miss Monroe, I'm Agent Sarah Chen. We've been watching your house for the past hour. We knew they were coming. How? How did you know? Because someone warned us. She said you'd be in danger tonight. Patricia? Agent Chen nodded. She came to our office this afternoon with evidence. Documents showing a conspiracy to silence you. We didn't have time to warn you directly, but we put surveillance on your house. Marilyn's legs gave out. She sank to the ground. Agent Chen knelt beside her. You're safe now. We have agents stationed around your property. No one's getting in. But for how long? They'll try again. They'll keep trying until... Not if we move first. Agent Chen helped Marilyn to her feet. Miss Monroe, we need you to testify again. But this time not about Hollywood. About this. About the conspiracy. About who ordered your death. Marilyn looked at her. You know who ordered it? We have suspicions. But we need your testimony to build a case. Will you do it? Marilyn thought about Bobby's phone call. His admission. His involvement. Yes, she said quietly. I'll testify. But I want protection. Real protection. Not promises. You'll have it. We're taking you into federal custody tonight. Witness protection. You'll be relocated until the trial. For how long? However long it takes. Marilyn looked back at her house. Her home. Her life. Everything she'd built. What about my things? My clothes? We'll have someone pack for you. But we need to leave. Now. Agent Chen led her toward a car parked on the street. Black sedan. Unmarked. 2 more agents inside. As they drove away, Marilyn looked back one last time. At the house she'd bought with her own money. The first place that had ever truly felt like home. She didn't know it then, but she'd never see it again. Wait a minute. Because what Marilyn discovered in the next 24 hours would reveal that the conspiracy wasn't just about silencing her. It was about something much, much bigger. The safe house was a nondescript apartment in Pasadena. Plain furniture, beige walls, No personality, like a hotel room where hope went to die. Agent Chen stayed with her. Try to get some rest. Tomorrow we'll begin debriefings, but Marilyn couldn't rest. She kept seeing the syringe, kept feeling that hand on her arm, kept hearing Bobby's voice saying, "It's complicated." At midnight, there was a knock. Agent Chen opened the door to reveal Patricia. The script supervisor looked exhausted, haunted. "Patricia." Marilyn rushed to embrace her. "Thank God you're safe." "Barely." Patricia sat down heavily. "After I called you, they came to my apartment. I barely escaped." Agent Chen brought them both coffee. "Miss Patricia brought us quite a file this afternoon. Documents that go beyond Hollywood corruption. Way beyond." Marilyn looked at Patricia. "What did you find?" Patricia pulled out a folder. "Remember when we exposed the studio's practices? The cover-ups? The abuse?" "Of course. That was just the surface. I kept digging, and I found something. Money trails, payoffs, but not just to studio executives, to politicians, high-level politicians." She spread documents on the coffee table. Bank records, wire transfers, coded correspondence. They weren't just covering up abuse in Hollywood. They were using Hollywood as a money laundering operation. Campaign contributions disguised as film investments. Bribes disguised as consulting fees. Marilyn stared at the papers. "How high does this go?" Patricia looked at Agent Chen, then back at Marilyn. "All the way to the top, Senate, Cabinet, maybe higher. The White House? We don't know yet, but the people who ordered your death tonight, they're not studio heads. They're government officials." Marilyn's mind reeled. Bobby knew about this." "We believe so," Agent Chen said carefully. "The Attorney General has been conducting his own investigation, but from what we can tell, he's been covering it up. Protecting certain people. Why? Because some of those people are close to his brother." "The president." The room spun. Marilyn gripped the arm of the couch. "So when Bobby promised to help me expose Hollywood corruption, he was really controlling the narrative," Patricia finished. "Making sure you only exposed what they wanted exposed. The studio heads were expendable, but the politicians behind them? Those were protected. And when I started asking too many questions, you became a liability." Marilyn stood up, paced. "So what do we do? If the conspiracy goes that high, who can we trust?" Agent Chen exchanged glances with another agent in the room. "That's why we're here. My team has been investigating independently. We're not attached to the Attorney General's office. We report directly to the FBI director. And you trust him?" "We have to trust someone, Miss Monroe. And right now, our best chance is building an airtight case. With your testimony and Patricia's evidence, we can expose this entire network. But it'll take time," Patricia added. "Months, maybe years, and you'll have to stay hidden that entire time." Marilyn walked to the window, looked out at the quiet street. A normal neighborhood, normal people living normal lives, people who had no idea what happened in the shadows. "I'm tired," she said quietly. "Tired of fighting. Tired of being afraid. Tired of being used." Agent Chen approached. "I understand. But Miss Monroe, if you stop now, they win. Everyone you fought to protect? All the young actors, the crew members, the people who found courage because of you? They all lose too." Marilyn turned back. "What if I can't do this? What if I break? What if—" "Then we'll put you back together," Patricia said firmly. "Just like you did for me. Just like you did for hundreds of others. You taught us to fight, Marilyn. Now let us fight with you." The next morning, the debriefing began. Hours of questions. Everything she knew, everyone she'd talked to, every conversation with Bobby, every meeting, every promise made and broken. The FBI team recorded everything. Built timelines, connected dots. One agent, Agent Morrison, had been particularly focused on the phone calls from that night. "Miss Monroe, let's talk about the first call. The man who said you had 12 minutes. Do you have any idea who that was?" "No, I'd never heard the voice before. But he knew you. Knew where you lived. Knew you'd be alone that night." "Yes. Could it have been a warning? Someone trying to help you?" Marilyn hadn't considered that. I don't know. It felt like a threat. But think about it. He gave you 12 minutes. Just enough time to escape. Maybe that wasn't a countdown to your death. Maybe it was a countdown to when the fake agents would arrive." Marilyn's eyes widened. "You think someone was trying to save me?" "It's possible. Someone who knew the plan but couldn't stop it. Someone who gave you a fighting chance. But who?" Agent Morrison shook his head. "We're still investigating. But Miss Monroe, I want you to understand something. You have allies, more than you know. People in high places who are sickened by this corruption. People who are risking their careers, their lives, to help expose it. Over the next week, more pieces fell into place. Patricia had been working with a network of whistleblowers, industry workers, low-level government employees, people who'd seen things they shouldn't have seen. Together, they'd built a case that spanned decades. A web of corruption that connected Hollywood studios to organized crime to political power, and Marilyn Monroe was at the center of it. Not because she'd sought that position, but because she'd refused to stay quiet. One evening, Agent Chen brought her a newspaper. "You should see this." The headline read, "Monroe Missing, Fears for Actress's Safety." The article speculated about her disappearance. Some said she'd fled the country. Others suggested she'd checked into a mental health facility. A few wondered if something worse had happened. "The studio is spinning this hard," Agent Chen said. "They're saying you had a breakdown, that you were unstable, that you'd been threatening suicide. Of course they are. That's what they always do. But look at this." Agent Chen showed her another paper, a smaller publication. "There are people who don't believe it. People who remember what you did. Who remember why you did it." The article was titled, "Where is the Real Marilyn Monroe?" It questioned the official narrative, pointed out inconsistencies, suggested foul play. "You have supporters, Miss Monroe. People who haven't forgotten." Marilyn read the article. Tears blurred her vision. "I just wish I could tell them I'm okay." "That I'm fighting. You will. When the time is right. When it's safe." But safety was a long way off. 2 months into hiding, the first arrests were made. Low-level operatives, the fake Secret Service agents, a studio executive who'd coordinated the hit. But the big fish remained untouched, protected, lawyered up. "We need more," Agent Morrison told the team. "We need someone to flip. Someone on the inside who'll testify against the higher-ups." That's when Bobby Kennedy requested a meeting. Agent Chen brought Marilyn the news. "The Attorney General wants to talk to you. Claims he has information. Claims he wants to help. It's a trap. Maybe. But he's willing to testify. He says he has evidence of his brother's involvement in the money laundering operation." Marilyn stared at her. "The president? Bobby's going to testify against his own brother? That's what he claims. Why?" He says because it's the right thing to do, and because he can't live with what almost happened to you." The meeting was arranged. Neutral location, heavy security, FBI agents everywhere. Bobby walked in looking 10 years older, shadows under his eyes, gray at his temples that hadn't been there months ago. He saw Marilyn and stopped. "You look well. No thanks to you." He flinched. "I deserve that." They sat across from each other. Agent Chen and Morrison at the table. "Recording devices running? I'm here to make a statement," Bobby began, "and to offer my full cooperation in your investigation." "Why the change of heart?" Agent Morrison asked. Bobby looked at Marilyn. "Because when I heard what almost happened, I realized I'd become the thing I always fought against. I'd put politics above people, power above principle, and I almost got someone killed because of it." "You did more than almost," Marilyn said coldly. "You knew they were coming. You could have stopped it. I know. And I'll have to live with that forever." He pushed a folder across the table. "But I can still make it right. These are documents from my brother's office. Evidence of his direct involvement in the money laundering scheme. Instructions he gave to studio heads. Payoffs he authorized." Agent Morrison opened the folder. His eyes widened. This is explosive, I know, and I'm willing to testify to all of it, under oath, in open court." "Your brother will be impeached," Agent Chen said. "Yes. Your family will be destroyed. Perhaps we deserve to be." Marilyn studied him, looking for the lie, the angle, the manipulation. But all she saw was a broken man trying to fix what he'd broken. "Why should I believe you?" Bobby met her eyes. "Because, Marilyn, despite everything, despite the mess I made, I need you to know something. That night on the phone, when I told you to stay put, part of me was hoping you wouldn't listen. Part of me was hoping you'd run. That's why I hesitated when you asked if you could trust me. That's not good enough. I know it's not. Nothing I do will ever be good enough. But I'm trying. I'm trying to be the person you thought I was when you first trusted me." Marilyn looked at Agent Chen. "What do you think?" "I think his testimony could break this case wide open. But it's your call, Miss Monroe. You're the one who's been through hell. You're the one who has to decide if you can work with him." Marilyn thought about all the months in hiding, all the fear, all the nights she couldn't sleep because she kept seeing that syringe. But she also thought about justice, about the truth, about making sure no one else had to go through what she'd been through. Fine, she said finally, but I have conditions. You testify first. You put yourself on the line before I do. And if I sense even a hint of betrayal, I walk. And I take these documents with me. Bobby nodded. Agreed. You haven't seen the biggest twist yet. Because when Bobby testified, he revealed something that changed everything everyone thought they knew. The congressional hearing was closed to the public, but not to the press. Cameras everywhere, reporters cramming every seat, the entire nation watching as Robert Kennedy, Attorney General of the United States, took the stand. Marilyn watched from a secure room. Agent Chen beside her. Patricia too. All of them holding their breath. The questioning began. Methodical, detailed. Bobby answered every question. Yes, he knew about the money laundering. Yes, his brother had direct involvement. Yes, he'd helped cover it up. But then the prosecutor asked a question nobody expected. Mr. Attorney General, let's talk about the night of August 4th, 1962, the night Marilyn Monroe was nearly assassinated. Were you aware of the plan? Bobby's face went pale. Yes. Gasps in the courtroom. And did you attempt to stop it? Not initially, no. Why not? Bobby's hands clenched. Because I was told Miss Monroe had become a security risk. That she knew too much. That she was threatening to go public with information that would destabilize the government. And you believe that? I was afraid not to believe it. The prosecutor leaned forward. Who told you this? My brother. The president! More gasps. Cameras flashing. Reporters scribbling furiously. And what did the president ask you to do? Bobby's voice dropped to almost a whisper. He asked me to make sure Miss Monroe was silenced. Permanently. The courtroom exploded. Shouting. Chaos. The judge banging his gavel. In the secure room, Marilyn felt like she couldn't breathe. Patricia grabbed her hand. Did you follow that order? The prosecutor asked when order was restored. I told him I would. But I couldn't do it, so I made a different call. What call? Bobby looked directly at the camera, as if he could see through it to where Marilyn was watching. I called someone I trusted. Someone outside the official channels. And I told them to warn Miss Monroe. To give her 12 minutes, just enough time to escape. Marilyn's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Agent Chen looked at her. The first call. The mysterious man who gave you the countdown, Bobby sent him, Marilyn whispered. Bobby tried to save me. On screen, the prosecutor continued. So you defied a direct order from the President of the United States? Yes, why? Bobby's eyes filled with tears. Because I loved her. Because despite everything, despite the political complications, despite knowing it was wrong, I loved Marilyn Monroe, and I couldn't let her die. The courtroom fell silent, but I was a coward about it, Bobby continued. I didn't have the courage to stop the plan outright. I just gave her a chance to run, and when she called me that night, when she asked if she could trust me, I couldn't even give her an honest answer. What happened after she escaped? My brother was furious. He ordered a second team, but by then the FBI had been tipped off. They had surveillance on Miss Monroe's house. The second attempt failed. Who tipped off the FBI? I did, anonymously, because I realized I couldn't play both sides anymore. I had to choose, power or principle, politics or people. And you chose? I chose to be the kind of man Marilyn Monroe believed I was, even if I'd never actually been that man before. The hearing continued for hours. Bobby revealed everything, every name, every transaction, every cover-up. He handed over documents, recordings, evidence that would bring down dozens of powerful people, including his own brother. When it was over, Bobby was led away, not as Attorney General, but as a witness in protective custody. His political career was over, his family legacy destroyed, but the truth was out. That night, Agent Chen brought Marilyn the news. The president is resigning. Vice President Johnson will be sworn in tomorrow. And there are warrants out for 17 politicians and studio executives. Marilyn nodded numbly. What about Bobby? He's in protective custody too, like you. They'll probably never let him testify in person at the actual trials. Too dangerous. Will I ever see him again? Agent Chen hesitated. Do you want to? Marilyn thought about it. About the man who'd loved her but betrayed her. Who'd tried to save her but nearly got her killed. Who'd destroyed his own life to tell the truth. I don't know, she said finally. Maybe someday. When enough time has passed. When I can look at him without feeling. Feeling what? Everything. Anger, hurt, gratitude, love, all of it at once. 3 months later, the trials began. Marilyn testified. So did Patricia. So did dozens of others. The evidence was overwhelming. Convictions, prison sentences, reforms. The entire system shaken to its core. And through it all, Marilyn remained in protective custody, hidden, safe, alive. 1 year after that night, August 4th, 1963, Agent Chen came to the safe house with news. It's over. All the trials are done. All the appeals exhausted. You're free to go. Free. You can go back to your life. Or what's left of it. Marilyn thought about that. Her life. Marilyn Monroe's life. The manufactured image. The Hollywood dream. I don't want that life anymore, she said. Then what do you want? To disappear. Really disappear. Not as a protected witness, but as myself. Norma Jean. The girl I was before all of this. Agent Chen smiled sadly. We can arrange that. New identity. New location. New life. And Bobby? What happened to him? Similar arrangement. He's somewhere safe. New identity. He'll never be in politics again. Never be in the public eye. Is he okay? As okay as he can be. He asks about you sometimes. The agents tell him you're safe. That's all he wants to know. Marilyn walked to the window. Looked out at another anonymous street in another anonymous town. Tell him. She paused. Tell him I forgive him. Not because he deserves it, but because I need to. For myself, I will. And tell him. Tell him that 12 minutes saved my life. And I'll always be grateful for that. 2 weeks later, Marilyn Monroe ceased to exist. In her place, a woman named Jean Norman moved to a small town in Oregon. She got a job at a library, rented a cottage near the coast, lived quietly, no one recognized her. Her hair was different, her makeup subtle, her clothes ordinary. She was just another middle-aged woman living an unremarkable life, and she was happier than Marilyn Monroe had ever been. Sometimes, late at night, she'd think about that phone call, that 12-minute countdown, how close she'd come to death. But mostly she thought about what she'd gained. The truth exposed, justice served, a system changed, and a life reclaimed. Years later, a young reporter came to the library researching a story about Marilyn Monroe. The mysterious disappearance, the conspiracy theories. Excuse me, she said to Jean Norman. Do you remember Marilyn Monroe? The actress? Jean smiled. Everyone remembers Marilyn Monroe. What do you think happened to her? Jean thought carefully. I think she got what she wanted. Freedom, peace, a chance to be herself. You think she's still alive? Does it matter? Marilyn Monroe was never a person. She was an idea, a fantasy, and fantasies can't die. They just transform into something new. The reporter thanked her and left. Jean returned to shelving books. To her quiet life, to the peace she'd fought so hard to find. And if sometimes she looked at old photographs and remembered the glamour, the fame, the spotlight, she reminded herself of that night, of the phone call that changed everything, of the 12 minutes that saved her life, of the choice between the lie and the truth. She'd chosen truth. And truth, while harder, had set her free, and that was worth more than any movie role, any magazine cover, any moment of fame. Because in the end, Marilyn Monroe's greatest performance wasn't on screen. It was the courage to walk away, to disappear, to live. And 12 minutes after that last phone call, everything changed, just not in the way anyone expected.